I just made the most interesting purchase of my hockey card investing career. You're listening to the Hockey Card Haven podcast. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome. This is episode 65 of the Hockey Card Haven podcast. It's a weekly show diving deep into the world of hockey card collecting, flipping, and investing. And just a reminder, you can listen to the podcast every Wednesday, coming out with new episodes on Spotify as well on Apple Podcasts. And you can subscribe to us on YouTube as well. I'm your host, Mike Distefano, Anthony Santini, my co-host with me. What's going on, pal? How are we feeling today?
What's up, buddy? Feeling pretty good. Good start to the week. Always nice to get back to a card show on Sunday. And you know how much I love the MNL one too. So it was a good show. Nice to see you. A couple of the boys up there too. Get a couple deals done, but massive pickup for you, dude. I haven't seen a majority of the cards, so I'm super fired up to see what happened here on Sunday.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do a full video, create some content for the channel, do a full video and breakdown of the whole collection of what I picked up. But, it's funny. I did a deal with the gentleman early in the day. I picked up a bunch of cards earlier in the day for a few $100s. And I went back at the end and we were just shooting the breeze. And we got onto some sort of, he was telling me a story about how, I believe it was you and Eric. I think Eric, who bought out his table once before at that show a couple of years ago. And he's like, yeah, I didn't come by. He was like, I was hoping he'd buy me out. I was like, well, what's your number? And he threw out a number. And I was like, hemming and hawing on it. And it included like a Tim Hortons set. And I was like, what's the number without the Timmy set? Because I don't have much of an interest in that. And that he was like valuing very strongly. And he gave me a number. And I'm looking through. I'm like, I can't say no. Like, I have to buy out the rest of this guy's table. And I have to, like, it would be stupid. It would make zero financial sense for me to say no thanks to the sweetheart deal that this guy was giving me. He just wanted to get out of the hobby. He didn't want to set up at a show next month, I guess. And he was just wanting to kind of get out and move on from most of his stuff. So, I've got, I got a whole bunch of it here. It pretty well. Actually, I'm gonna have to get rid of that little background thing there for you, Anthony. I'm not gonna show all of it, Anth. I'm just gonna show, just like a few of the things. Like I said, I'm gonna end up making more of a full video on this at some point here. But I don't know. Like, just look at. It's pretty much like one of these massive boxes. Everything pretty well filled inside of that, and it's just graded cards, a bunch of young guns. There was, what was there? Let me just take a peek. I mean, you can ask me any questions you want. I don't know if you want to know my thought process of what kind of went into it, but like, I don't know, just random stuff like young guns. This is a Matt Boldy rookie diamond out of 100, the Emerald, like one of these Bedard draft things. It's like some random young guns as well that were included in there. I think the best one was, Luke Hughes, maybe like a Montembeault, Seth Jarvis, Matty Beniers. Like there's some decent stuff in there. But to me, the biggest reason why I wanted to make that trade is because they're just like a bunch of slaps, and they're lower end, PSA 10 slaps. No one crazy, but enough like players, and PSA 10 still move despite not being massive guys. But there's a couple decent ones. Like there was a Line A, there was a Jeremy Swayman. There was enough there where I'm like, I could move like 5 or 6 of these cards, and if I can get market price for them, the rest of it is pretty well gravy. I know it's some like cheap low-end young guns that'll move for like $2-3 a piece, but it all adds up. So it was just a bit of a no-brainer for me, and I'm excited to kind of go through it with you guys and do this video over the next week and kind of go through everything that I bought and kind of what my game plan is to sell it. So it was fun. I've never done that. I've never bought out a table before, and I had to take everything on the table. Like he said, I don't want to take anything to my car. He had like toys, like random California raisins. He's like, got to take those too. Like it was really strange, but yeah, I'm kind of excited to go through this process, and I guess I'll try and chronicle it for for the listeners, on the Haven. I wish I had, like a POV. I might start doing that. I saw a couple guys walk around at shows with like these meta glasses. I'm thinking about that, Anthony. I'm thinking about it because I think that there is an appetite for that content. I know I watch some of it on YouTube. I'm not sure if you do or not, but I know a lot of people do. Might consider doing stuff like that because I wish I had like a POV of me going through it, making the conversation with the gentleman at the time. But I'm excited to kind of go through it with everybody afterwards and see what's in the big lot that I bought, the table buyout.
Yeah, those POV videos are just the best. Even like a couple buddies on the beer league team that I talk to every Sunday, they always show me like the videos and they're like, "Oh, I watched so Hit 'em High Sports Cards comes up on like their feed
Yeah.
sometimes and it's like, "Oh, I saw he picked up like a Gretzky," and he kind of told the story a little bit through the video. So those are so sweet. But the one thing I wanted to ask you for the collection you picked up, because I've only really picked up two collections. One time was around 2 years ago, picked up a massive hockey collection. And I remember flipping through the box and seeing a Kirby Doc Young Guns exclusive. Now, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. And that was kind of like the seal the deal moment for me, where I was kind of going through the cards and I was like, okay, I need to pick up this collection. Like, this card's in there. I couldn't turn it away. Was there like a card when you were kind of like going through it that you saw and you were like, okay, I guess that kind of sealed the deal for me?
Not really, because it was just such a reasonable price right off the hop, where I was like, there's no way I won't make money. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at it and I'm like, if I sell each and every one of these slabs, just the slabs alone, which again, they're not hot players. Like there was a Kirby Doc, but it's like Yegor Chinnikov or like a Zach Benson or a Cole Sillinger. Like they're not hot players, but if I sell them for whatever, $20, $30 a piece, I'll make money. Like a PSA 10, like Yegor Chinnikov, you can get 30, $40 for that, especially now that he's in Pittsburgh. So for me, it was more of a volume play and the fact that the deal made sense. It wasn't necessarily, okay, if I can make most of my money on this one card, then it's worth it and the rest is gravy. I just looked at it, I'm like, if I can get market value for like close to market value on everything, like I'm very much in the green and I could do really well with this lot. So it was more of a volume play. I saw enough stuff that has enough value where it just made sense for me. And then some of the interesting, cooler pickups, again, I did see them. I went through it, I saw them. But like these Team Canada gold autos, like the 72 Team Canada gold autos. It was at the 1991 Future Trends Experience set. But it was like Frank Mahovlich, the gold auto. This one, Phil Esposito, gold auto. Where was there? A Peter Mahovlich, gold auto. And there was like a couple other, players. There was a Daryl Sittler, which is probably the best one. There was a Bobby Clark. What else was there? A Bobby Hall. Yeah, Daryl Sittler with the Canada Cup one. Bit of a different series, but those ones I saw and I'm like, you know what? Those are really cool. Like on top of the graded cards, I was like, those alone make it worth it. And then everything else is absolutely gravy. Like all those random oddball young guns would just be gravy. And there was some vintage involved there, some 70s and 80s cards that I don't know a whole lot about. So I'm excited to go through it and kind of find out what some values are for that type of stuff. But overall, yeah, it just came down to me as a volume play where there's just so much stuff. Like there was a Kirill Kaprizov Young Guns canvas. It's like, okay, if I can move that for, 50, $60, like I'm like, that would be gravy, like one of the stuff like that. So, that was pretty much my thought process, was more of a volume play. There's so much stuff here. It's not that it's not illiquid, like the graded stuff will move and I'll already be in the green, and then everything else is just gravy on top of it. And if it's slow, whatever, like I've already paid off the whole lot. So it was more of just a dollars and cents type of thing and more of a volume play, as opposed to there's one really good card that's going to pay for most of it. I think it was more so just like, hey, there's enough $40, $50 cards in here, that it'll just make sense to pull the trigger there.
No, I mean, it seems like a pretty good deal. I know you're gonna go a little bit more into detail with like everything that's in it, but right now, what's your kind of plan? What are you thinking? Do you want to move like some core pieces to get your money back so that the rest is gravy? Do you want to kind of wait it out? Because I know me personally, I'd be the type where if I pick up a collection, couple $100, whatever it is, I might be like,
Yeah.
you know what? Let me move off like the five biggest cards, organize everything really well just so I know where everything is. And then it's just kind of like that slow money that continues to roll like a snowball. So you might be a little bit different, but that would be kind of my plan.
No, I think that's something that I probably would do, like the stuff that's super liquid that I can get out of right now, as long as the market isn't like in the tank for those cards, like a player who's injured, or like a Patrick Laine. There's a Patrick Laine PSA 10 in there. His market's in the absolute tank right now. He's been hurt for months. Like if I sell that card, I checked, it's going for like $60, $70. But a Patrick Laine PSA 10, when he's playing, when he's scoring goals, is like 150 to 200. So like there's potential in that card, but I'm not going to move it right now because it doesn't make sense. I could move it for 50 and still be fine. Don't get me wrong, but that's one of the cards that still has a little bit of growth in it. There's not a lot of growth, I would say, in this where it's like long-term holds. A lot of it I could flip right now and move right now and be fine with, I would say. Like there's a Jeremy Swayman PSA 10 Young Guns in there. It's like, yeah, it's about $100 card. I could hold on to it and wait till the Olympics, I suppose. But like that's it, right? Like it may be a 2-3 week hold and moving the Olympic, but I don't even think he's going to really play at the Olympics. So the fact that Boston is so red hot right now, like maybe I could hold on to it for the playoffs if I believe long term that the Bruins are going to be good. But I'll take $100 for that, or 125, whatever the going rate is right now for him. So yeah, I think there are most of the cards I would. I'll probably end up going through it, post them, and see what I can get. There's a few where the market's a little low that maybe I can speculate on, but for the most part, yeah, I'll flip, some of the bigger stuff and kind of wait and see what happens on some of the other players and just make plays that way. But I'm excited. It'll be a really fun process, and try and chronicle and document it for for those who listen along, follow along on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, wherever you get our podcasts from. I know I had tons of people come up to the show that we were at over the weekend, talked about how much they enjoy the show. So appreciate it. Thank you to everybody. We do have a lot of fun having these discussions, and this was something different, something new that we can add a little bit more content to the podcast. So I don't know if you have any other questions for me here. We can move on and get into today's show. I just off the top kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. I was excited to and let people know that there will be a more thorough video coming out in the next week or so about the pickups as a whole. But if there's anything else you want to ask me or get off your chest there, if not, we can kind of get into the show and the rest of what we want to talk about.
All good, man. I love it. I mean, I saw the guy. I was talking to him a little bit. I know he wanted to move off a couple cards, and I was thinking about it myself. But you know what? I
Well, I
took
know
a
you
back
did. You
seat. I
grabbed a
took a back
couple.
seat.
You did grab a couple from him, didn't you?
So I picked up this guy's such a beauty, by the way. I know he's not a listener of the pod. He's a little bit of an old timer, not too much into electronics. He was telling me he's such a beauty. I pretty much went up to him. I ended up buying a Lucas Raymond at the end of the show, PSA 10. Doesn't this guy come up to me and offer me a Young Guns canvas PSA 10 for free? He comes up and he's like, "Hey, buddy, thanks for all the deals. Like, you've always been nice. We always get deals done, especially with Eric. How about have this one go?" So I picked up those two. I
That
don't
would
know
have
where
been
I took that.
included. Hey, that should be mine. That would have been included in
It
the
should
table
be.
buy.
It should be. Either way. I was happy to get that. I actually did offer him a little bit of cash because I felt there was no reason to take that for free. But that guy is such a beauty. See him all the
Yeah.
time at the M&L show. And, good luck, buddy. Good luck with your collection. I'm excited to see what content you pump out.
Yeah, we'll have some progress reports over the next couple of weeks and see if we move some stuff and when we get into the green and all of that. Few of the things we want to get into on today's show. Allure has been out for a week now, so we got some of the top sales from Allure that we're going to talk about. Shocker, Macklin Celebrini, kind of leading the charge there as per usual. So his market continues to trend upward. Speaking of trending upward, we got at the Hockey Card Stock Exchange. We're going to get into today. A couple guys trending up, couple guys trending down. And Auston Matthews, what do we make of his kind of comeback, and is his market about to heat up? What do you make of Matthews and his market? We'll get into that conversation in a little bit as well. And PSA actually coming out discussing the future of their business after the BGS acquisition, and some of the things they're going to do to improve the consumer experience for not only PSA but BGS and SGC as well. So we'll hope to get into all of that on today's show. Let's start with a couple of the top Allure sales. Looking back on the first week of Allure, and it came out about a week ago. I actually did buy an Allure card over the weekend at the card show, Purple Diamond Wyatt Johnston auto. But Allure came out, and shocker, I know it's technically a different season, and it's not his rookie year. Would you be shocked if I told you that the top two sales in this year's Allure are both Macklin Celebrini cards?
Definitely not. I would not be surprised in the slightest.
No. Macklin Celebrini, you had two doubloons selling, and as of now, unless you've seen something different, those are the top two Allure sales from opening week since the product came out about a week ago. So a couple of Celebrini second-year doubloons, top sale of $375, coming in as a couple of the top sales from this week. There was an Allure 16-bit rookie of Ryan Leonard of the Washington Capitals. That was sold for about $200. An Easton Cowan Red Rainbow auto also selling this week on January 18th for $140 Canadian. And then there was another Matthew Barzal Purple Diamond auto out of 10 selling for about $140. So per card ladder, those were the top 5 sales in Allure. Unless you saw something different, Anthony, give me the kind of hold up a second. What's up?
So under 2025-26 Allure, a couple Matthew Scheafer rookie autographs that actually sold on January 18th. So the Blue Line auto did $2,000. $2,000 for the
How was
Blue
that?
Line
Did I
auto
spell Allure?
35.
Did I spell Allure wrong?
2025-26 Allure 2 Ls, but there are just a ton of Matthew Scheafer cards that sold here that I actually missed when we were looking over at the Allure set a couple weeks ago. Even the 1/1 Lucas Raymond that sold for $700. Pretty crazy stuff right here. Ethan Frank 1/1 rookie auto that sold for $584. Michael Misa, the
Scratch
Blue
it.
Line auto.
Let me hang on. Scratch everything I just said. So stupid me, I put in 25-26, thinking that all of these sales would still show up. So I was kind of shocked that the highest sale we saw was a second year Celebrini card. But yes, if you actually put 2025, you put the actual full date, then these cards are popping up. And now all of a sudden, I am seeing this $2,000 Matthew Scheafer Blue Line auto, a Matthew Scheafer Purple Diamond 10 of 10 rookie auto for $2,000. Another Matthew Scheafer. Like, you've got 3 Matthew Scheafer cards selling for over $1,700, and that makes way more sense. Okay, that makes far more sense than the doubloons, second year doubloons being the top. So I did think that was kind of odd, and I don't know why I didn't adjust my my settings there. But yeah, so there it is. Matthew Scheafer. That guy's got a big market, man. A really, really big market. And his stuff's gonna come out series 2. So his Young Guns isn't out yet. So you can't get his Young Guns. So people are jumping at Black Diamond. There's a couple massive Black Diamond sales over the last month. And also now with Allure being the latest product with some autos, seems like people are really going all in on Matthew Scheafer as well.
So does this make you change your mind a little bit of our conversation last week? Because it looks like people are spending some money on Scheafer here. I mean, long-term wise, I don't think that he could be the biggest hold. I was thinking about it a little bit too this week, because you can almost kind of compare Scheafer to, I know defensemen's markets don't have the biggest, push or whatever we want to call it in the hobby for people to kind of go crazy and spend a bunch of money. But Moritz Seider, a guy that is so good in the NHL, doesn't really have the biggest hobby love. You could kind of compare Scheafer to a guy like Seider in a couple years, maybe not right off the hop. But if you're going to talk about like holding a case, that's exactly where I would put Scheafer, like in that kind of Seider tax bracket, like number one guy on his team, top 10 defenseman in the league, but probably not someone that has the biggest hobby love. But I'm pretty surprised. $2,100 for a blue line auto out of 35. That is just crushing, man. That's insane.
Well, if that's the case, you're pricing him at about Matthew Seider or Mo Seider. His PSA 10 Young Guns. Let's see what the latest sales are on him. $95, $100, $63, $72, $75. So if you're putting him in the Mo Seider camp, you're talking about max $100 over his last bunch of sales. Right now, Card Ladder values it at about 95 in value. That to me is not like a generational stash the wax type of player, if that's what we're talking about. And it's possible he can end up there. Maybe he ends up in like the Lane Hutson, Quinn Hughes category. And even still, I don't know how many people are stashing away Hudson and Hughes wax either, unless you're Hughes has Makar in it too, so you got kind of two generational defensemen in there, so that's a little bit of a different story. But I don't know. To me, I still don't think, like, although there are some massive sales on Matthew Scheafer in the last week, like we're going to see these tumble. I mean, this is the opening week, and it's still really early. There's not a lot of Scheafer rookie cards available and out there, but I can't see his market, staying this high as a defenseman playing for the New York Islanders. I just can't see it happening. So yeah, he don't get me wrong. Like I think he's a player and he'll be highly coveted. His young guns will be highly coveted. And I think that people will be buying him up for similar to Lane Hutson pricing, $150. But is this a guy long term that will be in the Cale Makar range? I'm not so sure on that one. That's just my personal opinion, though. But it's good to see that he is, the top rookie, obviously available in the 25-26 wax, and obviously a couple big sales of his coming out of Allure. All right, let's get to the hockey card stock exchange, Anthony. And, it's been a couple weeks since we've done the stock exchange. Probably about a month now, actually, since we've looked at some guys trending up and some guys trending down. Who's someone who's trending upward for you, Anthony, in the hobby?
Yeah, so massive one here. If you don't know him, get to know him. Sidney Crosby, up 25% at the start of the season. We talked about it last week. He's just got to be a guy that in the offseason you need to pick up no matter what. If you don't have him in your sports card portfolio, you need to pick up some type of Young Guns, Future Watch, break it down a little bit, maybe just on-card autograph, something of Sidney Crosby, I think, because in the next 2 years, I could just see his stuff slowly improving in price. And that's exactly what's happened in the past 3 months, up 25% since the start of the season. I think it's going to keep climbing too. I mean, Pittsburgh's in the hunt for the playoffs. They look a little bit better than a lot of teams expected. And Crosby, man, this guy is just aging like fine wine. One of the best centers in the league, arguably, probably right behind Celebrini as the best center in the league. I mean, McKinnon and McDavid in that conversation as well, but he's going for a gold medal in February. I think he's going to be really exciting to watch. And something we learned last year in the Four Nations was when Sidney Crosby is on the biggest stage, his market really took a big impact for that. So I'm looking at Crosby stuff to still increase in the next month, and it's already been doing it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think a lot of the reason why Crosby was like cheap-ish last year is because Ovechkin got a lot of that, love, and a lot of money went toward Ovechkin because he was kind of the guy who was on the goal chase, right? But then once that happened and that craze went away, and the Washington Capitals have not had a great year to follow up what was a good season last year. the markets have flipped, right? Like now everyone's looking more at Sid and a chance to win a gold medal, and he's still playing at a over a point per game pace at 38 years old. It's quite incredible what Sid's done, and he's always been an undervalued GOAT. Like Crosby is considered a GOAT. You go look at what a lot of top tier rookie products from other sports are going for the GOATs. Crosby's also always been very undervalued. So it's good to see him finally getting that love in the hobby, and it sounds like guys are starting to pay up and stash this stuff away. I think that's part of the reason too. You're getting some big boys entering the card community, not just hockey card collectors, but sports card collectors in general. And they're going after the McDavids, the Crosbys, the McKinnons, the Celebrinis. They're stashing the stuff away, hoping that the sports card market really does have that quote 10x growth that I think Nat Turner of PSA said would happen. Or no, was it Nat Turner of Fanatics? Sorry, Fanatics I think said that if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of people speculating on the market, but it's super safe to speculate on a guy like Crosby, where you're just going to see growth go up day in, day out for a guy like that. For me, a bit more of a day-to-day type of guy, not a legacy player like Crosby. But how about what Tage Thompson has been able to do here recently in the hobby, and the massive uptick in sales for this guy, Tage Thompson. His latest PSA 10 Young Guns selling for $234. He was going for like $100 at the beginning of the season, so he's more than doubled in price over the course of the last few months here. So really impressive stuff from Tage Thompson. He's a guy certainly trending upward. The Buffalo Sabres have won a lot of games. He scored a lot of goals, and he's going to be featured on Team USA for the upcoming Olympics. So there's a lot of hype right now when it comes to Tage Thompson, and 200 to 250 right now for his PSA 10 Young Guns. If you were picking them up all summer or early on when Buffalo was experiencing their early season dip, you've made out well with Tage Thompson. And I got one. I was able to pick one up pretty cheap, not too long ago. I think he's a big time sell right now. I think he's gotten to a point where I can't see it going for much more than $250 for a Tage Thompson in Buffalo. So I think like he's trended up so much and gotten to such a high market point. I think I'm selling. Like I think he's now at this point, a sell. It's gotten so high.
Yeah, I mean, especially for some of his cards, like you said, some of those young guns that have really increased, I'd probably move off them because I can imagine in the offseason when Buffalo's missed the playoffs and kind of fizzled out, hasn't really made any additions at the trade deadline, which I don't think they will. His prices will start to slowly decrease. But I mean, you said it right. He is one of the best goal scorers in the league. He's a great player. And I had the opportunity to watch the Sabres versus Minnesota Wild last Saturday. I was boots on the ground scouting Tage Thompson. And I can confirm, besides Quinn Hughes, he was one of the best players on the ice. But even just looking at a couple sales here for a future watch, around $175 to $200 for a raw future watch. Like that is still a price where I don't mind jumping in if the Buffalo Sabres were a little bit better, if they were in the playoff hunt a little bit more. I know they did go on that, I believe it was a 12-game win streak or 11-game win streak, but they were on a heater, starting to fizzle out a little bit more. I could imagine that they're going to continue to do that as the season continues. But Tage Thompson is one of those guys that in the offseason I'm going to have on my list because he's a player that could go for the Rocket. He could score 50 goals, and he's just a machine. I mean, we'll see what he can bring to that Olympic team in February because I think he could be a really big difference maker for them.
Yeah, it looks like a rookie orange checkers even just sold for him for $140. So it's not just the young guns that people are picking up. His market, entirely is definitely going up, and people are picking up a lot of different variations of his rookie cards over the course of the last few weeks here. So Tage Thompson, according to Card Ladder, 446 sales since the new year. I mean, that was not the case, prior to Buffalo turning around here over the last month. So good for Tage Thompson. And that's a guy who's definitely trending upward, trending down. A couple guys who are on their way down here. Anthony, who do you have in your trending down category?
So one guy, my trending down, got to be Jack Hughes. This guy has had a really tough return from injury. Hasn't scored since his return against Buffalo when he scored that nasty goal. Everyone thought he was going to be that spark that he usually is for the New Jersey Devils, but his prices have slowly started to fizzle out. And I think he's one of those players that a lot of people are buying Jack Hughes when he's playing well. There's a lot of eyes on him. I still think he's one of the most talented players in the NHL. But it's the same conversation that we always have year after year. Maybe the Devils aren't as good. Maybe Jack Hughes, his health is a factor to how good the New Jersey Devils can be. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So Jack Hughes prices, I'm watching them fall a little bit. You'll see in my pickups, I actually did pick up a Jack Hughes card. And I think I'm going to continue to pick up a couple more. And in the offseason, I mean, maybe take a stab at a bigger Jack Hughes card, like a future watch of some sort, because I think he's a great player, but as of right now, his stuff is really starting to come down a lot.
I wonder if Jack Hughes gets himself to Minnesota too.
Hmm.
Right? Like Quentin Hughes now in Minnesota, if he signs a long-term deal that we know the brothers want to play together. So I wonder if we see, over the off season, Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes change teams. And on Minnesota, you got a winger like Kirill Kaprizov. You got your brothers moving the puck up to you. Yeah, if that happens, yeah, I think Jack Hughes definitely could take his game to the next level if he could stay healthy, which is
Hey,
the biggest issue for Jack Hughes. Always
yep.
has been the biggest issue for him is health. And I think that's why a lot of people have kind of, why he's fallen out of favor in the hobby. You just can't trust him to stay healthy and build up that hype again where he goes on a run where he has like 18 points in an 8-game stretch like he did to start last season prior to that injury.
Yeah, I think even for Jack Hughes, it's always been the biggest factor for him. Elliot Friedman kind of said it right a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw that Luke Hughes own goal when they were kind of booing him and the New Jersey Devils were really giving him a tough time. But Elliot Friedman brought that up and he kind of said, I wonder if Bill Guerin is kind of looking at that situation and saying, all right, maybe I don't have to go after the big fish in Jack Hughes. Maybe I dabble. Maybe I could get Luke Hughes, bring him to Minnesota, and that kind of brings the idea to Jack Hughes' head to come to Minnesota as well, because they really need a center. I mean, that could be another destination for some of the bigger centers at trade deadline. But I mean, Jack Hughes, a guy I'm going to keep my eye on. I still think he's really talented. I'll never forget what he did in that November 2023 season. Just absolutely ridiculous stuff. He was in that conversation for the Hart. And New Jersey was one of the best teams in the league. So we'll see. Maybe next season is the season for Jack Hughes.
Now, a lot of the same issues with Jack Hughes can be said about Auston Matthews. And his market is starting to trend up recently. He was featured in our trending down, a couple months ago as a guy whose market was starting to really free fall. It's starting to go back up here over the course of the last month, Anthony, which is great to see. It's up 17% since December 27th, multiple PSA 10 sales reaching back into the 1,000 range. We had seen it go as low as 800, when it completely kind of bottomed out and dipped. We saw his PSA 10 Future Watch Auto go for as low as $4,000. I think it's $4,200. It's, the last sale now up to $6,900. So we've seen a rebound in Auston Matthews' market. He has 11 goals, over his last 12 games. The Maple Leafs are kind of back in a playoff hunt. Just to point out of the playoffs as of the time of this recording, is Auston Matthews back, and is his market back? Or is this just a bit of a hot run and you still don't have belief that the Leafs are for real, or that Matthews can stay healthy and continue to play this way? Where are you at with Auston Matthews? I know you own a lot of his cards. Like, what are you doing with them now that it's seen a little bit of a rebound? He's still holding strong. Are you gonna try and cash in? Are you looking to buy again before it continues to go up? Where are you at with Auston Matthews?
Yeah, I still think that Auston Matthews, unlike a lot of people that I've talked to, I still think that Auston Matthews is the real deal. I mean, the best goal scorer in Maple Leafs history. That's got to come, you got to give him his flowers. And I know that people kind of didn't give him too much of the benefit of the doubt the last 4 months because of his nagging injury. And yeah, sure, he used to be a 69 goal scorer, a 60 goal scorer, but people were down in the dumps with this dude come October to December, man. But he's turned it up. It's a new 2026 for Auston Matthews. Like you said, his market has started to come back to what it was. I mean, prices haven't really crept, in a PSA 10 over 1,000, nothing really into 1100s, but they were dropping as low as $800. I mean, people were posting them. I think the lowest I ever saw was 775. Just really low stuff for one of the best goal scorers in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Me personally, I'm going to keep my eye out for Auston Matthews stuff. I already kind of, dipping my toe into his market is kind of an understatement. I'd say I'm fully dunked in, actually doing a cannonball in his market. So I got a couple big Auston Matthews cards that I've stashed away, and I don't really plan on selling them for the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, he's signed here in Toronto. He's playing well in Toronto right now. The cup window is still going to be open as long as he's playing for the Leafs. And I mean, just like Montreal, the conversation, as long as he's a Toronto Maple Leaf, I think the market for his cards are going to be there. So I'm still going to keep buying Auston Matthews stuff.
So taking a look at card ladder data right now, and you can just see since Christmas, his daily index has just been going up and up and up and up and up. So you're seeing a lot more Auston Matthews, a lot more volume in his stuff, and it's gone way up, 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 up since he's really started to. And this is throughout that 12 goals in a 13 game stretch. So the market, obviously the graph is showing us that the market is up. The numbers show us that the market is up. The question is, can he stay healthy? And can this team have success, get themselves into the playoffs for that to continue? And again, it's very similar to the Jack Hughes, just, his Matthews market's obviously just on a higher scale, but it's a lot of the same questions, right? With both players. But with Matthews, it's, we know that there's a really high market cap on Matthews when he's performing at a top level. It's just whether or not he can continue to do this for the rest of the season and beyond, obviously. And that I still kind of question. It's great that his market has rebounded this much, but I do wonder if this is a time for people to maybe liquidate a little bit of their Matthews market share just in case. Just in case. That's what I have been doing and would do. I don't know if this is. I wouldn't sell it all. I wouldn't hold it all. I think I'd liquidate a little bit of it and kind of wait and see where it goes, because it can easily tank just as quickly if he gets hurt again or the Maple Leafs fall off a cliff again, both of which very possible at some point here when it comes to Auston Matthews. Anthony, we were sent by our pal Brandon. Shout out to Brandon, the behind the scenes third member of the Hockey Card Haven podcast. We were sent a little Instagram video of a trade that went down. And I believe it was, I think it's Mitchell Lucas is his name, or Lucas Mitchell. He's an influencer. He's been around the game for quite some time. What's up, Luke Mitch is his Instagram handle. And we were sent a video, and he basically went over a big trade that was made publicly and, asked which side would you rather be on? Basically a who says no type of thing. And we sit on opposite sides of this trade. So I want to play the video so that everyone knows exactly what the trade is, all the cards involved, and then weigh in yourselves in the comment section down below. Let us know which side of the deal you would prefer. But Anthony and I will talk about it on the other side here in just a moment. Let's get some volume. Hold on. Let's get some volume. There we go.
Sports Cards Game Worn made a big trade on ePack. It was a Matvey Michkov Young Gun Red Outburst numbered to 25. I wasn't able to find a cash value of the Matvey Michkov Young Gun Red Outburst, but the Ivan Demidov sold for just over $7,000 Canadian. The color match though, wow. But back to the trade. He traded this for 6 cards in return. And to me, this is crazy. He got a Bedard rookie auto. That is a sticker, but still. A Crosby auto patch, insane work. Followed by a McDavid auto. All of these got to be at least $1,000 plus. Then you got a Celebrini Young Gun, OPC Marquee Rookie, and a pink Marquee Rookie of Macklin Celebrini. I would say all of these players are a better name than Matvey Michkov, and better players. This one is the lowest numbered, and these ones on the bottom aren't the craziest. However, these 3 on top are absolute bangers. When you value it all up, it probably is pretty even. However, just trading names like Crosby, McDavid, and Bedard autograph cards for a non-autograph card of Matvey Michkov, which he's played pretty good, but who knows where his future's going. These 2 are established studs in the league. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Let me know, which side would you rather have? These?
So there you have it. So it breaks down to, well, you have the breakdown actually, but it's a Matvey Michkov Young Guns Red Outburst, number to 25. And in return, so it was a 1 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 card for 6 cards. So Michkov Young Guns Red Outburst out of 25. Got a Bedard rookie auto, a Crosby jersey auto, a McDavid auto, a Celebrini Young Gun, a Celebrini OPC pink insert variation, and then another Celebrini kind of base rookie on top of it from OPC. So that was the trade. I personally would have took the 6 cards. I think the winner is the guy on this, whoever got those 6 cards in return for the match, Matvey Michkov. Like you're talking like Bedard autos, McDavid autos, like goats, literally like possibly guys who are going to go down as top 5 players all time. Celebrini, one of the hottest players in the market right now. You're picking up 3 of his rookie cards and then a Bedard rookie auto on top of that. There's hardly anything I think you could say. We haven't talked really much about it other than which side we would have, but I'm curious because you said that you believe that the Matvey Michkov is the play and the side that you would prefer. I'm curious how, like, where your head's at on that. Why is this Michkov card the better of the 2 sides in this deal?
So I do think that he brought up a good point at the end of the video where he kind of mentioned, all right, like big picture, you're trading 4 goats and you're trading away someone that's more of a speculative, unproven player, which I do understand. You know, that is obviously a good idea. It's not like you're kind of trading a bunch of, Lucas Raymond cards and high-end Brandon Hagel cards, guys that really aren't as valuable in the hobby, people aren't looking for. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Sidney Crosby on-card auto, Connor McDavid on-card auto, Connor Bedard sticker rookie auto, which I thought was really big. Having a rookie sticker auto is a little bit nicer than having, a second, a third year Connor Bedard. And Celebrini is one of the hottest players right now. I mean, the receiver of this 6-card lot could probably go out tomorrow morning, probably last night, have these cards already sold, like just bang, bang, so instantly. Whereas the other side of the coin, Michkov, you're receiving.
You gotta find the right collector on that one.
Right, which here's my point. So it all depends and it all starts with, if you're listening, a Michkov, what side of the coin are you on? Are you on the Michkov train? Are you thinking, I don't think his market's ever really going to come to fruition? The way I view it and the way that I saw it was a little bit of an Ovi Crosby type of thing. When Crosby surging, look at Ovi. When Ovi surging, look at Crosby. So I'm looking at Celebrini's market. Stick with me here. I'm looking at Celebrini's market. He's looking really appealing right now, really appealing. Everyone wants a piece of Celebrini, and rightfully so. I mean, he has been unbelievable, totally proven to everything he's acclimated to right now, where Michkov on the other side, definition of a sophomore slump. I mean, we haven't seen anything to prove. And, take a stab at some of his bigger cards. But if you are in the speculative market, if you are looking to pick up players that, could go down as one of the best goal scorers of all time. I'm not saying Michkov is, but he definitely has the talent to rival some of these players like Celebrini in a couple years. So
He's,
I
he's
think
got
the
10
opportunity,
goals. 10
stick with
goals,
me here.
24.
Stick with me here. Stick with me here. While you're on your computer, I want you to look up Jack Hughes' rookie year. Absolute slump as well. Did not look good. Did not look good either. And I know a lot of people were hating on him too. So I know I'm kind of on my own here. 1 for 1, the deal around 2,300 is pretty fair, obviously leaning towards the 6 cards. But I think down the road, having an out of 25 high-end Michkov card that if he does pick it up, a lot of people are going to be looking for it, is a really big and good idea to have if you're high on Michkov. So if you're not high on Michkov, I think totally take the GOAT autographs and obviously the hottest player in the NHL. It's a great trade for both sides. I say the biggest factor of it all is, are you in Michkov? Are you into Michkov or are you not? So if you are, I think it's a great deal. Great deal.
Even if you are into Michkov, like, I don't know if his market will ever have an opportunity to get to, like, the heights it would have to get to. Like, I don't know who's going out there and spending like $3,000+ on a Michkov, Ruby Red Young Guns to 25. Like, I just don't know how many people are willing to do that. Like, there was a sale, actually. There is a sale on a Michkov. It's a best offer, so we'll take it with a grain of salt. There is a best offer sale back on March 27th. That was a year ago, and he had a great season last year. Really solid rookie year, 26 goals, 63 points in 80 games. So his market would have been at his all-time high at this point in his rookie year, and it sold for $3,475. So basically $3,500. So like that's it's an expensive card. Don't get me wrong; it's a lot of money, but it's dropped significantly since then. Like his base Young Guns has dropped in half. His market in total has dropped in half for most of his cards since then. So you got to think, at $3,500, now you're looking at $1,700 for this card. The ones you gave up are worth significantly more than $1,700 in total. And I don't know how much higher I expect it to go either, is the problem. Like I get it. They're kind of cool, the Red Outburst, but like if you're looking to spend money and pick up high-end Matvei Michkov, you're probably looking for exquisite. You're probably looking to pick up some stuff from the cup. Like if I'm going to spend $3,000 on something, and that's really, I would have to sell for $3,000 to make it worth it. You're probably looking for something with an auto or a game used patch of some kind, as opposed to just something out of 25. That's my concern with, where I see that card going. I just don't know if there's many people out there who are going to be interested in that card. You're going to be sitting on it for a very long time. The liquidity of something like that, you got to hope that he bounces back, and it's not going to be super liquid. It'll be an illiquid card. For those two reasons alone, I think that it's a very risky play for whoever was on the Michkov side of the trade.
Yeah, much riskier. I think higher upside though. That's kind of where I'm coming in from my perspective of it. I mean,
but like very risky upside though. Like, does the risk outweigh the reward? Is more so, I guess, the question there. I'm not so sure it does.
I'd probably say I'd agree with you in that aspect. I mean, don't forget, he was almost point per game last year, 63 points, 80 games. I believe he was tied with Macklin Celebrini as well. I mean, obviously, can't even compare the same stratosphere. You need to go 5 stratospheres back to even compare Michkov and Celebrini for what he's done this year. But I think, maybe if the card's clean, maybe you grade it. Obviously, if you have higher end Michkov cards, it's kind of that idea of to get those rare cards, you need to pay up a little bit too. And Right now, Celebrini is obviously hot. I mean, this Celebrini Young Guns was probably a what? That lot right there was maybe what, $150 3 months ago. I mean, a lot has changed in 3 months, but it is kind of that conversation of selling high on a market that is so hot right now to get
Yeah.
into a player where his market is much cheaper. So I always kind of like those ideas, selling high on players to get players that I like personally at a cheaper price. So if it was me, I would do the deal. If it was you, you would do the deal from the 6 card lot side. So I think it's pretty fair for both sides.
I guess, yeah. And at the end of the day, both players or both collectors shook hands and made the trade. So I guess both are happy with the deal. Um, I guess we'll see who wins in the end. I just think there's far more risk in the Michkov side. Like, yeah, it could go up, but there's what we know is that there's more of a likelihood it goes down than up, I would say. Whereas the Bedard, the Crosby, the McDavid, even the Celebrinis, there's a chance that it could go up, but like the chance of them going down that much, I think are far less odds of it going down, I would say. So to me, it's I would have took the other side, but yeah, you're more of a riverboat gambler than I am, I guess, Anthony. Yes, that's what that means. Let us know in the comment section below, which side of the trade would you rather, Michkov or the goat lot, we'll call it. Let us know in the comments down below. All right, last thing I want to get into before we kind of sign off for the night, Anthony. I don't know if you saw this, but PSA was discussing kind of the future of the company after the BGS acquisition, some of the things that they plan on doing, moving forward. And it's put, actually, I would say, a lot of collectors at ease, maybe, about the future of where PSA is headed. If they stick to it sounds all fine and dandy. Did you happen to see any of this stuff, or am I kind of bringing this to your attention for the first time here?
Hey, brand new stuff for me.
Beauty. So here's a couple of things that were talked about. They further discussed kind of their desire to continue to run PSA, SGC, and BGS as their own entities. And they plan to help rebuild them back by making, some slight improvements to each company. They noted BGS will continue to do subgrades, which I think is something they should continue to do. It is kind of the calling card of Beckett's grading system. But apparently they will be getting some sort of new slab design, which will be very interesting for Beckett. I actually have always liked Beckett's slab design. That's just personally for me. I like the gold label as like gold for gem mint or the black label, or silver if it's an 8 or a 9. I've always been more partial to BGS's label, if I'm being completely honest with you. PSA is obviously more sleek and thinner and easier to, I don't know what the word is, like they're stackable, they're it's easier to what's the word I'm looking for, store. I think easier to store. But anyways, so that's something interesting. But one of the things I really liked, two things actually, they acknowledge that their turnarounds are far too slow, Anthony, and they're vowing to improve those turnaround times. They say right now it's taking about 90 business days to turn cards around, and that's way too much. They said a lot of times stuff is just sitting there waiting to get inputted as well, and that is taking too much time. So they plan on hiring a bunch of new employees and somehow getting those turnaround times a lot quicker. And that's music to the ears of every single card collector, flipper, investor, whatever you want to call it, out there who utilizes the grading system. Because I mean, anyone you talk to, you're like, oh yeah, I got this card. It's out for grading. I wish I had it right now because that player is, killing it. Like right now, the amount of Macklin Celebrinis that people have out for grading that haven't made its way back into their hands, they're missing out on some real serious gains. And you just hope that when you get them back, they continue to do so. Or Drake May in the NFL. It's like if you don't get your Drake Mays back in the next couple of weeks, that market's going to end up going back down after the Super Bowl. And it's just, it's just the way that it is. Always happens this way. So they're acknowledging the turnaround times are way too slow, and they will be improving those moving forward. So that's great. The one thing that I thought was really interesting, though, they'll be implementing some sort of population report hygiene. So this is from an article that I read earlier today. The president, Hoge of PSA, said, quote, the company plans to roll out a new program that better promotes hobbyists sending in labels from graded cards that have been flipped to either a new grading service or a new holder with the same company. So basically, when stuff gets cracked and sent back in, right, or at least when they're cracked or sent back in for a regrade, sounds like they're going to be cleaning those up. So, like, if you send in a Beckett 9.5 and you send it in, you say only grade this if it will come back a 10. They will then strike the 9.5, take that out of the pop report, and then change it over into a PSA 10. And same thing for SGC. And pretty much they noticed that there was a lot of cards that may have been graded by SGC or Beckett that were then cracked and resubmitted and end up in the PSA pop report. But guess what, Anthony? There's a graded population of about, we'll say 74 cards in the graded population. The cards out of 50. How is that possible? So this is their way to try and combat that, and they called it pop report hygiene. They're going to clean up, some of the cross grading and make sure that they're getting rid of, like if a 9.5 crosses into a PSA 10, take it out of the BGS cross or BGS pop report because it's the same card. So they're looking at things where the same card should not be able to be cross graded twice is the phrase I was looking for there. So if it's a card that's 11 of 50 and it gets sent in and it's already in the system as an 11 of 50 in like a BGS 9 or PSA 8, let's say, they're going to take that out of the pop report. So moving forward, theoretically, pop reports specifically for numbered cards should never have multiple cards on the report. And they'll be able to do this now that they own a large majority of the grading landscape. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think too, like obviously for the higher end market, that's going to be the biggest impact. Like when you're talking about cards that have maybe a population of 10 graded across all companies, and then out of nowhere, one gets cracked into a 9.5, or sorry, from a 9.5 into a PSA 10. And we're talking about big cards where every pop that pops up could change the price. For the vintage stuff, I'd say more than just regular Young Guns, that plays a bigger factor. But that's where some of the gravy's made, and some of these bigger cards and some of these vintage cards. And I feel like now that they're making that change, it's going to have a big impact. I know personally, I was looking at doing a crossover and going through the PSA website. It actually asked for the certification number from the Beckett card, which it's my first time doing a crossover. I don't believe that this is something they did before or made you do it, but that could kind of be them integrating it. Like, all right, if this card does get upgraded, we have the cert number. We're going to slash it off the pop.
Are you cracking and sending, or are you sending it in the Beckett slab and asking for a crossover?
I'm sending it in the slab and asking for a crossover to see if it has that mid-grade 10. I mean, if I were to crack like whatever Young Guns, Alexander Texier Young Guns, I would never send anything like that. But yeah, I would definitely not be putting the cert number or that it was a 9.5.
You don't have any Jacob Perot's that you've sent into grading?
Why do you always want to end the pod on this, guy? It's been like 4 episodes you've done this. Oh my goodness.
You didn't send
Okay, I got pickups.
You
I got pickups. You ready for them?
Yeah. Let me see.
All right. So picked up this today. Shout out Carson. Came by the house, dropped off some cards. Picked up a Jack Eichel Young Guns. Looked pretty clean. Needed some cards to add to my submission. So this guy's been playing absolutely unbelievable. Alluded to this one a little bit earlier. Jack Hughes Young Guns. This one looked pretty clean too. Looked pretty good. I know they grade fairly well. If you ever pick up a Jack Hughes Young Guns, usually for the most part, unless there's major damage, it looks pretty good. So I know the gem rate on those are relatively high. And then
I believe he is the second highest graded PSA 10 Young Guns out there. They're second or third. Bedard's number 1, followed by either him or Kaprizov, but those are the top 3. So yeah, they grade very well. High pop report.
Yeah. Third card, pick this up at the MNL show. Kind of that rookie showdown type of illusion card. I don't know exactly what these are called, but this is out of the Tim set, the national selections. When they originally came out, I believe this card was going for $100, and I was still willing to pay $100 for it, but pick this up a lot cheaper than that. And kind of want to see what happens with this card as the Olympics are only a month away. I mean, if it can maybe get to around $80 to $90, I'll probably move it. But this McDavid was pretty sweet. Definitely wanted to grab that. And then the last card, really love this card. Actually picked this up from a listener of the show. Shout out at the MNL show. And was really happy to grab this. I find that Stamkos market is really cheap.
Sick.
One of the best goal scorers in the NHL, in the history of the NHL. And it was really sweet to grab this one. So super happy with that.
Yeah, I know you, but I looked at that a couple of shows actually. I've taken a look at that card. I know exactly who got that off of. Yeah. Oh, you gotta take a phone call there. Someone's trying to get a hold of you. That's for sure.
I do. I don't know why Eric's calling me. Probably to talk cards or something. I didn't talk to him today, so either he's ready to talk cards or school. So I'm ready for either, but not right now.
Yeah. Any other pickups? Those are your big ones there.
That's it for me. I mean, I did off cam scooped up a Ovechkin Young Guns BGS 9.5. I don't know what the plan is with it just yet, but I did post that on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram at SportsCardsGTA, another good deal I got done with Carson. That was a beauty here. And yeah, I don't know, kind of like an Ovi's market right now. I know Washington hasn't been the best. Crosby's been surging, and it's kind of that conversation that we continue to talk about. You know, when some of these legends, their markets are a little bit lower than normal, that's when you kind of got to jump in.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I made a trade late at the end of the card show the other day, and I was able to pick up 2 beauty cards, actually. Obviously, that massive table buy that I had. There's a couple other cards that I picked up as well, but this is a really interesting one. I wanted your thoughts on a trade here. But I picked up this Macklin Celebrini Future Watch, number to 99, the gold Future Watch. So I was able to grab that, and then a really cool Easton Cowan dual swatch rookies, number to 5. I don't even see the 5, but numbered to 5. Yeah, number 4 of 5 here for Easton Cowan. There's not a lot of Cowan cards out there, but obviously people love and want Easton Cowan as much as possible. And then you talked about Macklin Celebrini, how his card market is on fire. I made I think it's a bit of a risky play, but I'm still kind of big on Celebrini, I guess. And I also am in the market for getting lower numbered cards, right? Like supply and demand. So I traded a Bedard PSA 9 Young Guns and 50 cash on top, I think. Yeah, Bedard 9 Young Gun and 50 cash on top for these 2. So I don't know. What do you think? You think I did okay on that trade, or you think I got rinsed and hosed?
No, I mean, I saw the photo when you sent it originally. I'm just looking at what some of the other exquisite collection out of 5 cards do. Can you guess what the Demidov out of 5 sold for? Of similar like that Cowan? $2,000. $2,000. Can you guess the Frank Nazar? Can you guess the Frank Nazar?
When was it? Give me a date.
Yesterday. Yeah, no, 2 days ago, actually.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, 2 days ago. Okay, so it wouldn't be that high then. I'm gonna guess. I'll guess out of 5.
Yeah.
1,100.
486. 486.
Yeah, okay. I thought it'd be a little lower than that. I thought it would be lower. I was gonna originally say 600, and then for some reason, I was like, maybe it's a little higher. But yeah, my original guess is gonna be $600. Which makes some sense. So yeah, this I don't know. This was valued at. I mean, he bought it off of eBay. The guy I got it from. He was the eBay comp, the last comp. And it was like 100 190, I think, and that was before Christmas. So his market's gone up a little bit since then. He's starting to score some goals, starting to get it going with the Maple Leafs. So that was kind of my, I don't know, is my first decent Cowan card. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that was my kind of big pickups outside of the massive, obvious table buy. Yeah, these two were my big pickups from the weekend. All right. Good stuff, Anthony. You going to hit up any shows this weekend? Anything in your area that you're thinking about?
TNT trade show on Sunday. I believe they haven't done this show at the location in over a year. 707 Galaxy Road, I believe it is, in Oakville. Pretty good venue, actually. If it's the same show that I remember, it was pretty good hockey-wise. So I'm looking forward to that one. I will be in attendance and probably the last card show before I send off my big submission to PSA for the month. So if you have some raw cards, if you're going to be there, come say what's up. I will be looking for more cards to grade.
Beautiful. All right. TNT trade show. Maybe I'll make my way out there. We'll see what my Sunday looks like. But
It's a good show.
We also got some big NFL playoff games to sit down and watch. I don't know if I'll get out to Toronto, but we'll see. But if you're in the area, a bunch of shows this weekend in the Toronto area. All right, that'll do it for us here today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to us right here on YouTube. You can also subscribe to us for you on-the-go listeners on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. And we'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of the Hockey Card Haven Podcast.